Well, that didn't take too long to fall through, did it? Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 222, and I want to talk to you guys today about the real estate that we were trying to acquire. I have an update about that for you. But before we get into this video, do me a huge favor, click the like button, let me know that you like this type of content. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe with notifications on as well. It is greatly appreciated. Now, quick little follow-up here for you guys from last week's video. I know that some of you guys find these vlogs to be somewhat boring, but I guess instead of leaving comments about that, just stop watching the vlog and go watch something else. Go watch some more of my hearing treatment related content. There's over 1,000 videos of that at this point. You'll probably enjoy that stuff more. For those of you who kind of want to behind the scenes and just hear me kind of talk about the stuff that I have going on that is not necessarily treatment related, feel free to stick around. Okay, so quick little shout out to those individuals who were serving in the United States military and who passed away. Tomorrow is actually Memorial Day here in the United States, so please take some time tomorrow and pay your respects to those who gave their lives so we could have our country here and the freedom that we do have. Very good. So let's talk about the real estate. So if you watched my vlog last week, you know that I have been on the lookout for a piece of property, a piece of commercial property. The current space that we have right now for Applied Hearing Solutions, we actually own that condo unit. We purchased it back at the very end of 2019. Took us a full year to get it built out and then finally move in at the very beginning of 2021. But really, we had a flood here not too long ago, and that kind of prompted us looking at some other commercial space. And so we found a space in Scottsdale, Arizona, kind of like North Scottsdale. The location was about 15-20 minutes away from our current clinic location. And we actually put in an offer to purchase that commercial space. It's about 4,200 square feet. It has kind of an interesting layout. It has two different entrances. It's technically two different suites combined into one. So a lot of space, almost twice the size of the current location that we have. And the idea is that we could expand Applied Hearing Solutions into that location, as well as start up another audiology related business, which I'm not yet able to share with you guys, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll be able to share with you the project that I'm working on with another colleague of mine in the industry, as well as my wife Ashley as well. So here's the thing. We ended up putting in an offer. They ended up countering back to us. We countered their counter, and then the offer just kind of sat there, and we didn't hear back from them for a full week. It turns out that they had another interested party, but that interested party had not yet submitted an offer on the place. And so we came back and said, okay, well, it's already been 3 or 4 days. We need an answer in 48 hours. And then, wouldn't you know it, 24 hours after we did that, they came back with their best and final, and then we ultimately ended up accepting their best and final last week. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's great, Cliff. You're under contract. You've probably opened escrow and all of that. And what actually happened is that, we had found a new architect to work with here in Phoenix. We ended up going in, and it was me, one of my colleagues, and Rachel Cook, who you guys know from the channel. And we went into the space again, and we just kind of were working with the architect to try to figure out how we could change things, how we could enclose certain rooms, how we could expand the break areas, what we would do with some wasted space inside of that particular location. And when we got done with it, I was just kind of there's a lot of things with it that we're having to make concessions on, meaning it wouldn't be exactly the way that we want it. And if you guys followed the whole origination of this vlog was 4 years ago when we were doing a build out of the clinic. And the reason that I like that clinic so much is because we started from just a gray shell. It was concrete floors, no walls, nothing. And we had to go in and literally design it exactly the way that we wanted it. And to this day, I look at the clinic and I'm I would not change a single thing about the way that we set it up. Everything is laid out very efficiently. We have enough space for everything that we need. There's not any wasted space in the entire clinic at all. So the way that we designed it was just perfect. And then we had this experience of going into the temporary location during the flood, and we kind of had to like make things work. Like the layout wasn't exactly like we would want it to be to run the day-to-day operations. And so it was just 6 weeks of us like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. I can't wait till we get back into our original location so everything just flows the way that it needs to flow. And that experience really kind of opened my eyes to, if you are going to go into an existing location that's built out a particular way, unless you're willing to rip it down to the studs and completely redesign it in the perfect way, you're going to have to make some sacrifices on how the flow and function of that space is. And considering that it would have been, when it's all said and done, probably about $1.5 million, and some people like, Cliff, it's real estate, so add another 20% onto that. So let's just say $1.75 million investment in just the property. I just felt like it was, and it wouldn't even be perfect. I just felt like that wasn't worth it. So we ended up I ended up emailing my realtor basically and said, we had signed the offer or the counter offer that the sellers had sent us. They had still not signed it on their end. And that was like 4 days ago at this point. And so I was just like, you know what? They don't seem to be super interested in selling it. The amount that they want for it, for the amount of work that we would have to do on it, like I'm just having second thoughts, and I would just like to remove our offer. So we basically removed the offer completely. And now we are back to the point where, I think, in the current market, we're just going to end up renting a new location in the Scottsdale area, probably in the same general vicinity. If it's something that's not perfect, I'd be okay with that because we don't necessarily own it. But I feel like that the amount of risk that was involved with a $1.5 to almost $2 million property when it's all said and done, with the current interest rates, with the future economic outlook, I don't know what that is going to ultimately end up being, but there's a lot of people who are speculating that the commercial market's going to collapse, or even the residential market's going to collapse, and that interest rates are going to either stay the same for a while, or if they do start going down, they're going to start going down very slowly so we don't push ourselves into a recession. That being said, nobody can predict what's going to happen economically in the future. We have our ideas, but I just felt that the risk associated with doing that, given the current economic climate, probably wasn't worth the risk. At least it was negatively impacting my sleep at night, and it was also negatively impacting Ashley's sleep at night for sure. And so we're just going to kind of take a step back. We're going to do things in a little bit more lean startup way, where when we expand, we're just going to start small, and if it shows that we can grow, we'll then grow in the future. And that's just a less risky way to do it. Of course, the reward on that end is a little bit lower as well. We won't actually own the real estate, we'll be renting the real estate. But I just feel better about this decision, honestly. Who knows what's going to happen here in the near future from a real estate perspective, or a business perspective, or economic perspective. But I think that this is probably the safer, more logical way to go about things here in the near future. And then if things end up kind of like getting back to normal, so to speak, or we've proven that we can expand into that market and be really successful in the Scottsdale market, then we can think about purchasing a location at that point in time, designing it exactly how we want it, and having there be less risk associated with it, because we've already proven that we can go into that market and start a successful practice in that market. So I guess I'll keep you guys updated, because there is going to be a lot. We're still going to be expanding. And so I'm going to share that information with you as I get it here in the next several weeks to next several months. I'm hoping that by the third, no later than the fourth quarter of 2024, we actually have an expansion into the Scottsdale market, but we'll see what ultimately happens. That being said, I really appreciate you guys hanging on with me here today. Remember, tomorrow, Memorial Day here in the United States, so please pay your respects. And as always, I'll see you next week.